You don't need to put on a persona to be someone else because that's pretty stressful and tiring. So at the end of the day, just be yourself. So make sure that you plan your agenda, you network, think about what you can learn and what you can share, enjoy it, and take action. Welcome to Phys Biz with me, Aaron King, a podcast for exercise physiologists and health professionals wanting to grow and scale in business. Welcome to another episode of Phys Biz. A couple of weekends ago, I attended the ESSA Innovation and Practice Conference, both as a speaker, exhibitor, and as just an attendee exercise physiologist. So I reflected on the things that I got out of that and learned a bit, both as a speaker and attendee, to other speakers' presentations, as well as the things that I took away from the whole experience. And that's what's kind of inspired this episode. So here are my top tips for getting the most out of a conference. The first one, which some of these may sound obvious, but I think they're important to say out loud, reflect, and note down as we go along. So first thing is planning your agenda. Because some people attend a conference and they're not really sure what to do, where to go, and they're not able to get the most out of it. So to get the most out of it, we'll first work out what sessions you want to attend. You need to really balance the future. So, what you want to learn for the future, what you like, and what you need to know now. Now, I think out of those, what you like and purely out of interest is the least important one if it's not really relevant to you, because you're not going to take much out of it in that case. You might enjoy it. You might say, oh, I listen to speak and it's maybe a good starting point or talking point rather when you're speaking to other people at a party, but it doesn't really give you anything personally for the future. So what you need and what you want to make sure that you can balance all of those as well. Because you don't want to worry about FOMO and just the fear of missing out and going, look, I want to go to the biggest and the best with the most accomplished speaker, especially if it's not relevant to yourself, if there are other things on at the same time. You go for the one that you want to go to and is most important to you, for you, both for business and or personal. So don't go to the biggest, go to the one that is most important. And that's where you want to start. So planning your agenda, because you do need to drop the FOMO, because often at these conferences, there are multiple speakers on at once and you might have to choose between 2, 3 or 4 speakers. They may have a keynote speaker, which is the only one speaking at a time, but any of the other speakers, there might be multiple speakers at once. So you just need to think, well, what am I going to get out of this? And if there are 2 going on at once, like you might have staff, a team, friends that are going to one of the other presentations, and you can really swap notes at the end of the day and share your learnings with each other. And I think that's the important thing, is you're not just going to be focused on the one that you're attending, but feel free to speak to people that you know and take some learnings from the other ones. Because if you share what you've learned, you also learn it better and it sinks in. The second point is networking. So if you can get there as early as possible, so you get there before the conference. If you're not local and you're needing to fly in or something, you might get there the day before, because there's going to be a bunch of other people there meeting. Often they might have networking events. Like I know the Innovation and Practice Conference, I turned up on the Friday, got there early. There was a bit of a networking event on the Friday afternoon or Friday evening. So I was able to meet and greet some friends. I was also able to meet and greet some new people. And I think that's an important thing as well. Making sure that you get uncomfortable and saying hi to new people and networking. Like even I find that difficult at times, but it's still quite important to network with the industry, even if it's people not immediate to you or you haven't come across them. And you might have just seen their name on Facebook or some social platform, and you can go and say hi. Like I know people came up to me and said, "Oh, putting a face to the name because I might have posted something on the page, or they've seen something I've done on Instagram, or I've been an EP for about 20 years, so my name has come up somewhere, and also I've seen a bunch of other names come up along the way. So it's good to say, oh, okay, I recognize you. I've sort of met you in person, rather than just being a message behind the screen at the end of the day." Because every industry is small enough the longer you're in it. And you never know when you're going to come across someone again, where the conversation might lead, where there's an opportunity for each party. So they might get something out of it, you might get something out of it. And it's important to develop a bit of an elevator pitch for those networking events as well. Like people are going to get asked, where do you work? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing here? And you probably need to have an answer for those things as well. What am I doing here? Oh, I don't know. Oh, I'd really like to see so and so. I'm looking to learn to network. I've got this going on with my own career, own area. How about yourself? Make sure that you ask questions as well, because everybody likes to speak about themselves. So people have a good time if they're not just asking you questions, but they're being asked questions as well, and make sure that it's a symbiotic relationship as well as so you can all get something out of it. Even with any of the speakers as well, they don't bite. Like sometimes they're at the front of the stage and they might seem a bit off putting to go up to them, maybe not wanting to ask a question at the end of the presentation or during the presentation, depending upon how it's set up. But if you don't necessarily want to ask a question in the group as part of the audience, you can always connect with them after because they often do hang around. And like I spoke at the last one, and I say that last one was only a couple of weeks ago, and I was still there for the whole weekend as a participant and as an attendee and audience member. So I was still around and people came up to me and you take the opportunity to speak to them. And I wanted to speak to other presenters and other speakers as well. But it was also really great to speak to people that I'd maybe seen their Instagram or would actually shared a conversation online. But then it was good to put a face to their profile picture. And at the end of the first day, there was a networking event, like a networking dinner, I guess you would call it. I was able to, walk around and chat to different people and say hi and get to know different people as well. There were a bunch of people that I didn't know. And to be honest, I was a little bit uncomfortable just walking up to someone that maybe looked a little alone themselves, like they weren't sure what to do. Maybe they didn't have anyone they already knew, but you don't necessarily want to speak to everybody that you know already. You want to make sure that you're speaking to people that you don't know because at the end of the day, like I said, you don't know where it will lead. You don't know when you'll come across the person again because it's a professional opportunity to grow personally and also, you know, anything can come up at the end of the day, whether it's now, whether it's in the future. And I think that's important. So the next top tip is what can I learn and what can I share? So it goes back to planning, making sure that you're taking notes. I did notice in these presentations this time there was a lot of photos being taken of the board. I guess that comes down to you can use AI or just use the things that are built in your phone to read out and copy the text that's in photos. So it's probably a much quicker way to take notes is just what's being shared on the screen is actually the entire text. You could just take that and then take that later and analyze it. But most presentations aren't the full text. They might just be an introduction and then you have the speaker talking about it. So you do want to make sure that you take notes and analyze that once you're finished as well. So you don't want to do it just for the accreditation. You want to go and actually get something out of the weekend. Take notes, make sure you reflect and analyze, review it if it's being recorded. So if there's some way that the ESSA or another professional body has shared it online or shared it with you after the fact, or you get the opportunity to download the recording or something similar, you should review it. And once you've reviewed it, you aim to share it with others as well. Because it's when you share it, once you've analyzed it, once you've consolidated it and put it into a framework to be able to share it, that's when you really learn it. And I think sharing with others is probably the top tip to make sure you can consolidate the learning for yourself because you need to fully understand it if you're going to share it with someone else. You want to make sure that on the weekend as well is that you enjoy it. Make sure that you're adding in some downtime as well because you do get brain fog at the end of the weekend or at least during the weekend as well. So make sure you're taking regular breaks. I went to the ESSA conference, so it's exercise and sports science. A lot of people exercise in the morning, which you would expect as all exercise physiologists, sports scientists, exercise scientists, and some physiotherapists, chiros, and other practitioners as well that might have been there. So there's a lot of people exercising and enjoying themselves, but it was important to have some downtime. So you're able to consolidate your learnings and just able to get to know people, eat, drink, be merry, whatever you feel you need. Make sure the next step is action. So once the weekend is finished, make sure that you take action on your learnings. So build out a way to analyze your learnings and take from it what you can and then start to build into your practice, whether it's something that you've learned in your new initial assessments, how you're dealing with clients, or just a new understanding of some of the different systems, procedures, and implement it as soon as possible. Make sure you pay it forward by teaching others. And the other important thing is if you've networked with anyone, make sure that you follow up. So it may not be immediate. Like you may not follow up on the Monday because everyone's still a little bit fried. But if you do, that's fine. I'm not saying you don't, but you might, 24, 48 hours, send them a message, connect with them on LinkedIn, Facebook, or whatever way you said you're going to connect with them, then connect with them in that way, have a chat to them online, offline, phone number, whatever is appropriate for the situation as well. Because I think at the end of the day, you need to shift your mindset by focusing on networking and developing your career and your industry, both receiving and giving. So, a bit of a summary, go into it, think about networking, not just with your friends, but other people as well. When choosing your sessions, consider what you're going to learn, and meeting someone new, don't just do it for fear of FOMO. Take the initiative and create networking situations as well. And sometimes some of that can feel a little bit uncomfortable to begin, but the more you do it, you will get more comfortable. And because you might spend time with co-workers and people that you know. If you're on a conference with or your work colleagues, you can actually have some time away and network and chat to other people. Don't feel obliged to always spend the time with your colleagues. Nobody's going to get upset with that because you will just go back and probably spend another 38 hours or so with them week to week. So it's okay. You don't need to put on a persona to be someone else because that's pretty stressful and tiring. So at the end of the day, just be yourself. So make sure that you plan your agenda, you network, think about what you can learn and what you can share, enjoy it, and take action. And that's all from me this week. You've just listened to another episode of Phys Biz. If you've got some value out of the content, make sure that you like, share, follow, or subscribe. Until next time.